how do you improve on a formula that works so well? In the ROG Ally, you have one of the best handhelds of 2023. So if you're currently looking to buy a gaming handheld, do you go for the wonderful ROG Ally now, or do you wait for the ROG Ally X? So yes, you best friend have a decision to make. But first, hi, I'm Captain Awesome, this is Geekception, and I would really appreciate if you hit the like and consider subscribing, as that helps me out a long way. Okay, so the ROG Ally, and in June of last year, 2023, ASUS launched this device right here. A gaming handheld with a 7-inch display, Z1 Extreme processor, and a form factor that enabled true handheld gaming. And not like a gimped down version on the Nintendo Switch. No. This is true PC gaming in handheld form, baby. Now, the reception to the Ally here has actually been pretty positive, with lots of people purchasing and enjoying the Ally experience. And I think apart from what I've just mentioned, what made the Ally special is the competitive price to performance ratio. And even with the release of competitors such as the Legion Go or even the MSI Claw, I think in 2024 right now on price, you cannot really compete with the Ally here for just all the features you're going to be getting. And the question for many people, including you, is that do you wait for the ROG Ally 2, which is bound to have improvements to this wonderful device, or do you take advantage of all of the numerous deals that are available for the ROG Ally right now and get it in your hand, gaming and playing all your games? Well, first, let's start with what we know about the next ROG Ally. And according to the latest live stream from ROG Global, which we will talk about, it is not even going to be called the ROG Ally 2. Instead, it is going to be called the ROG Ally X. And according to ASUS, the ROG Ally X is more of a refresh with a spec change.
Redesign, or a totally new generation. It's somewhere in between these two things.
And then they go on to say how this is also not going to have a new generation processor in it, which to translate, what they're trying to say is that the ROG Ally X is going to have the same processor here on the ROG Ally, which is the Z1 Extreme. Yes, I know, pitchforks, especially for people who had a lot of expectation for the next ROG Ally. But there are some improvements that they're actually going to bring to the Ally though. And the first, which I think will be welcomed by so many people, is a much bigger battery. Like, I'm not kidding. According to this quote given to The Verge, we can expect significantly bigger and better battery life out of the Ally X. And ASUS also says that on the Ally X, we should be able to get more than the current 16 gigs that you have here of RAM on the Ally. So on the Ally X, probably a 32 gig model as well, which means you can now allocate more RAM to the GPU and get more performance out of, some more demanding games. It should now also have a longer SSD slot. So the one here is a 2230, I believe, which is the small, very short one. So you can now, support the 2280, which is more affordable than the 2230 that is on the original Ally. So on the Ally X, you have more storage options, and it should be much cheaper for you to upgrade. And also the Ally X should be more repairable with, redesigned joystick modules that are more interchangeable. And due to the fact that the Ally X will be heavier because of batteries, ASUS also says that you should expect that it will be heavier than this Ally right here. And also there are slight tuning to things such as the D-pad, the joysticks, and the triggers. And also, I think it will also be available in black color. And some rumors I'm hearing is that it will only be available in black color to be able to differentiate it from the OG Ally right here. And I think it's just going to look like the MSI Claw exactly. In fact, that was what I said when I, made my MSI Claw versus ROG Ally video, is that literally it just looks like, when you turn this black, the MSI Claw literally just looks like an ROG Ally. So yeah, we're finally getting a black color. And to be honest, ASUS on the live stream talked about how, they consider the Ally X sort of an in-between this Ally and Ally 2. So, just think of it as sort of, what, according to, I think what they said here, I'm looking on there, they said, they basically just use community feedback to be able to, build this thing. So yeah, that is the Ally X. Okay, so since we are talking about community, yeah, people did not like that at all. And I can understand. I live here in Kuala Lumpur. The live stream was supposed to initially be at 3 a.m., which was very hyped, but it actually happened 1 hour later. Like, it was like 10 minutes for them to start the live stream, and then they postponed it by 1 hour. So I had to wait like 4 a.m. to watch the live stream, and then discover that it was just spec bump and a bigger battery and a black color. And it lasted, I think the entire live stream lasted for like less than 8 minutes. And I was like, wait, that's it? I waited for this. So yeah, I can understand some of the frustrations that people felt, with the announcement of the ROG Ally X, especially since there's nothing new here. I mean, internally, right? Because this is actually in theme with the entire market right now. So most laptops you're going to buy in 2024, if they're using Intel or AMD processors, you can guarantee that there's nothing new. It's the same as last year. All of the new stuff is only going to be coming next year or maybe end of this year. So I'm not quite surprised there, but I would say, yeah, the way they handled the entire announcement and everything was kind of a bit icky. And I think also people expectations were so high because of course, they thought ASUS was going to come out with something completely, totally new. But yeah, that was the reaction, especially from the community. But I think personally for where I was a bit disappointed is in the display. Now, the 7-inch 1080p display here on the Ally is absolutely fabulous. I have almost no complaints about it, but I would have wished for something like the OLED on the Nintendo Switch or even the Steam Deck OLED. I would have wished for, a 7-inch variable refresh rate, 120 hertz with OLED. I think that would have been so amazing, but we did not get that. It's still the same panel that you have here, which to be honest is not bad. It's just, I would have wished for it to be there. And for the specific date that the Ally X will be announced, I think ASUS mentioned that it will be June 2nd, which coincides with Computex, which is happening in Taiwan. So that is next month. So that is when we can expect, dates for when it's going to be shipping, for the official, full announcement of the specs and all of that. So if you want to set your calendar, then you have a date. And so with all of this background that I've given you, do I recommend you buy the ROG Ally right now or you wait for the ROG Ally X? Well, it depends. First, I'm a big believer in buying what you need when you need it. So, if you need a gaming handheld right now, you need to play games, you need something that is very dependable, you need a good all-rounder, then I really, really cannot recommend anything else. The ROG Ally is fantastic. And also, if you need it now, then June 2nd, which is not even when it's going to ship, I'm not sure it's going to ship then, is too far away. So if you need it right now, you need something that is great enough, go for it. And second are the updates that you'll be getting on the ROG Ally X. So, we already know that it's not going to have a new processor, which means that the performance is literally identical to this. So maybe the form factor will be different. Maybe there'll be, updated joysticks and all of that. But as someone who has used this for almost a year, there's nothing wrong with this form factor, to be honest, except, maybe the SD card frying all the cards, which I hope they fix in the Ally X. But because it's not a major update, I would say, maybe it's also not, substantial enough for you to wait for it. And the third reason is still, the updates. If it promises, bigger, better battery life, they said on the live stream and also to the Verge article, and you are getting enhanced grip, you are getting, Hall effect joysticks, and you are getting just a general overhaul of, things that broke on this original Ally, such as the SD card slot, which I've never used on this unit because I don't want it to fry it, because it will fry it, it's that bad, right? So if they manage to fix all of those things, most especially the bigger battery life, because I know that's one of the not bad, but that's one of the things that you dock points for this Ally for, because the battery life is just not great, especially if you're playing any game at a high quality handheld, you're barely getting an hour out of it. So if they even manage to fix that, 3 hours or even 4 hours, a handheld at, medium to, high settings, one can hope, but even just medium settings, that would be fantastic. It's so worth it to wait for the Ally X. And the fourth reason is price. So like I said earlier in this video, you really cannot beat the Ally here for, just the price to performance ratio, especially when you compare it to the MSI Claw, or you compare it to the Legion Go. This is just so priced so competitively. And, if you're feeling like it's not cheap enough, you can just go to secondhand stores here in Malaysia is on Carousel, and you can even find it for cheaper. So yeah, the Ally here, at least this OG Ally, is so competitive on price. And from what I'm seeing, the Ally X with all of those updates and, SSD and all of this is definitely going to be more expensive. I'm hearing now about $100 more expensive. So $799 USD, which I'm not sure if that is even accurate. It might be more. And, you can definitely get this for cheaper, or at least much cheaper than you will be able to get the Ally X. So if price is one of the things that you care about, then that might be something for you to, consider, that this will be much cheaper than the Ally X. And I think the big brain move here is waiting for the Ally X to drop. Maybe like a 1 month if you are okay with waiting, like for the Ally X anyway, and then just buying this for even cheaper, because this will even be more cheaper from people who want to maybe upgrade from this OG Ally to the Ally X. So you can just buy that off of them and you probably get it even more cheaper at that time, right? So yeah, I would say for price, if you're Mr. Moneybags, then, you don't care. You're going to buy the Ally X. You're going to buy the most expensive stuff that can get you what you want. But if you care about price, I think, yeah, this Ally for the price, nothing beats it right now. So the ROG Ally or the ROG Ally X, what is it going to be? Well, whichever one it is that you're going to go for, one thing that I know is that you're definitely not going to regret your decision. Like, this has literally transformed my gaming experience in ways that I cannot even describe to you. I can try. And, in many ways, I've been able to play more games in the past 1 year that I've had the Ally than I think the past 5 years combined, because the friction of just having something that you can just bring with you anywhere and game and play all of your PC games is unrivaled. And the fact that I can just, dock this to my 75-inch TV and then suddenly I have like a gaming console right in the center of my living room is, it's crazy. It really is a big, massive upgrade to, any sort of gaming aspirations that you might have. So I think you are really not going to go wrong with either one. And most importantly, either you get the Ally X, you get this, is just to enjoy gaming. We can get lost in all of these specs, and, which was why on the live stream, many people got angry. They got so mad. I was like, guys, touch grass, guys, it's about a handheld console. It's not that serious, because at the end of the day, when you're spending all this time online worrying about, what the specs are going to be, you could spend that time just, playing Yakuza like I have. I played like a dragon, and then I went to play the original Yakuza 0, and now I'm on Yakuza Kiwami. So yeah, just enjoy your games, man. Like, that, I think, is the most important thing. Now, I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts about the ROG Ally or the Ally X, or, what console do you have? What are you considering? What are some of the thoughts you have? Please let me know all of those things in the comments down there below. And while you are there, please, give a like, subscribe. That really helps me a lot here on this channel. And, I have a coffee page in case you want to buy me a coffee, or, PayPal in case you want to, because you're Mr. Moneybags, or you're whatever it is you identify as Moneybags. And if you want to send some of that my way, I will never say no. I will never say no. And if you found this video helpful, even if you do none of that, you don't subscribe, you don't like, you don't do anything, please just have a wonderful day and text me when you get home so that I know you're home safe. I have been your Captain of Awesome, and I'm from Nigeria with Love. Don't forget to stay awesome. Bye.